Hey, we are back, and our summertime in September, it is going to last right on through the upcoming weekend. I've heard from some folks who decided to choose this weekend as a family vacation weekend, a wedding weekend. It is a perfect one, unless you were kind of hoping for more of that fall vibe. That's probably not going to happen until the following weekend, but we do have some fall weather on the way here eventually. So I think we just have to be a little patient. Saturday, Sunday, highs in the 80s. It's not going to be humid, tons of sunshine, and pleasant overnight temperatures as well. And the warmer temperatures have really slowed down the fall color progression here across most of Minnesota. We are only at about 10 to 25% here in the Mankato, North Mankato area. And that's a little behind schedule. This time of year, we're typically at peak late September through mid-October. So we are a little slow this year, and sometimes some of these warmer temperatures may subdue some colors and spots, but we're getting there. We're starting to see a little change, but not much. Mostly green here. Live view from the min.cam on 169. 76 degrees at noon today with a north wind at 3 around the region. We're already in the upper 70s in a few spots. Redwood Falls, 79. Slayton, 82. We have 77 in Fairmont Jackson, 79 Waseca Owatonna at 77. And in Glencoe, we are just a tick away from 80 degrees. And our average 69. We're doing a little better than that today. We're going to end up around 10 to 15 degrees above the norm for this time of year, and that's going to be the case right on through the weekend with warm temperatures, lots of sunshine. We have some of the ingredients for an elevated grassland fire danger risk, especially across far western Minnesota. That's something we're going to keep an eye on, and then we will cool things down as we head into next week. The radar's clear. The tropical storm now all the way north, bringing some heavy rain, strong wind to folks from Atlanta to St. Louis. As we get in a little closer here, it's moved quite a ways, and it is going to impact our weather here over the next few days simply by moving in and stopping up the works, slowing down the east, the typical east-west progression of weather systems. And we're going to be stuck with what we have, which is sunshine, warmer than average temperatures. Here's the checklist for fire danger. You see that we have warm temperatures, a lack of recent rain, the humidity's low. We're not going to have a lot of wind, and that's usually a big part of a grassland fire danger. And we're starting to have some dry vegetation out there. Just be careful with anything fire-related. There may be some issues. Things will definitely spark easily, but without the wind, they won't spread as quickly. But just keep that in mind. 84 today, sunny and warm. Not much wind either. North at around 5 to maybe 10. Tonight, clear, 56. Another nice night overnight. And then more of the same into the weekend. Sunny, 83 Saturday, sunshine, 81 Sunday. Monday, sunny, 83. We have a cold front that's going to plop through here, cooling us down to 63 Tuesday. Not much moisture in the air, though, so we won't see much rain, but it is going to be a little more fall-like through the remainder of next week. Time for a break. We'll be right back.
The 10-day forecast is brought to you by
Siding Windows, your friends in the business.